like to talk to you about mounting a scope. It's not as hard as I used to think it was, and it's probably not as hard as you think it is. But the use of bubble levels has changed everything for me. The Wheeler Ultra Scope mounting kit, this one here, has everything you need and extra. It even has a laser bore sighter in it so that you can even get your scope kind of on paper when you're done. So what I've done here is I mounted the gun up into the vise. Using the Tipton vise, I can actually move this gun around and I can level the gun. So I'm going to put this level on the receiver. That's where the scope is going to mount. So I'm going to mount it in, I'm going to put it in here and I'm going to get it to where I want it. Now for me, rather than putting the bubble in the middle of the lines, I like to put the bubble just against one of the lines. Because for me, that's a much finer measurement. I don't have all that slosh. Then I mount this other bubble level down here on the barrel. Somewhere around the muzzle, the barrel, anywhere where you can get to. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to match that bubble to the bubble on the receiver. So I've got it on the line, just touching the line. That's where I want it. Now I can take this one off. So this scope's already been mounted, but it hasn't been mounted on this gun. And it doesn't mean that it's straight. I'm going to put it on here. I'm going to put it where I want. When I put it into the Picatinny rail, I want it to go forward because when the gun recoils, I want it against those lugs on the scope mounts. And I'm not going to torque this down exactly to spec just yet. For me, this is about 45 inch-pounds, but I'm going to tighten it down enough that it's bit into that rail. I'm going to take this cap off because I can't guarantee that the cap is level. The turrets generally are, and since this bubble level is magnetized, it sits right on there. And right now, these bubbles match up perfectly. If they didn't, I would loosen this scope. I would make sure that my gaps on the scope rings are even. I would probably snug them down just so that the scope turns with a little bit of force. I use my thumbnails on both sides to get those gaps correct. I would tighten it down to my thumbnail, tighten it down on my thumbnail, and get it to where I was at. I'd get it level, put that bubble level back up on there. And then I would incrementally tighten my scope screws or my scope ring screws. Anywhere from 18 to 25 inch-pounds. It depends on what the manufacturer says, okay? Do whatever the manufacturer of either the rings or the scope tells you to do. I do those in a crisscross pattern. The Wheeler kit comes with a torque wrench so I can set it for anywhere from 0 to, well, it looks like I can go all the way up to 60 inch-pounds, which is quite a bit, a little bit more than that even. I tighten those down, make sure it's snug. But in the past, what I would do is I would kind of eyeball it, I'd level it, I'd look at it, and I'd tighten it down, and I'd get it all done. I'd lift up the gun, and the thing would look crooked to me. Well, I couldn't tell if it was crooked or not because we never hold the gun the same way. So if you use bubble levels and you use a good vise, it makes it so much easier. It's generally a once and done type of thing. So mounting scopes doesn't have to be that hard. I'm not a fanatic. I don't worry about it being absolutely perfect. If it's within the bubble, I call it good. So next time you're mounting a scope, think about using a kit like this from Wheeler and some bubble levels.
To see all of Gun Talk's content, go to guntalk.com, guntalktv.com, or sign up for the Gun Talk newsletter.